What's up, everybody? This is your boy Jonathan, back at it again, running and ripping, causing trouble with my dirt cheap sunglasses that give me ultra clout, and my Kmart button up. I love this Kmart button up, it's so cool. It fits right in with the summertime, you know? So anyway, so I wanted to make a video that straightens out a lot of things. I want to make a video that teaches you how to manage your nerd culture, okay? Because I know there's a lot of videos that I make. It sounds like I'm making contradictions, so hear me out. Everything will go together in this video, so hear me out, all right? So the first thing I think is you need to pull out what you can from anime, which can help with real world culture, right? So for instance, I like Robotech, which was an anime about like some space robot pilots, right? And the main character, Rick Hunter, was pretty cool, right? He had a good fashion sense for the time. That was like real world fashion that I really enjoyed, and a lot of my fashion influences from him. And also the way he talked, his language, his attitude, his personality really influenced me a lot. Another good guy was Lando Calrissian. Lando Calrissian from Star Wars, you know, especially the new one. He dressed super neat and clean and nice. And also his just attitude, right? And that translates into, well, that translates really well into the real world. Another thing is, like I talked about this before, furry culture. If you read comic books or you collect artwork or whatever, like you can actually see some of the attitudes and personalities come out of those artwork or the comic books, and the attitude, even videos, the attitude is like really friendly, really huggy, really lovey, you know, like a dog, like a companion. And they also have really good, like when, like a lot of the men's fashion that they use in furry artwork is really cool. They use a lot of plaids and a lot of flannels and a lot of nice jeans and stuff like that. So you could check that out. Also, a lot of in the furry artwork they show, you know, a lot of beach culture, and I'm really into beach culture, hanging out on the beach, getting a tan, whatever, you know, chilling, relaxing, stuff like that. They show rave culture, you know, I'm into parties and raves and stuff like that. So that's a huge influence so that's some good influences that you can look at. So that's number one, take out the real world influences from your nerd culture. Number two, if you really want a girlfriend, you have to know, like, you have to set up time where you can enjoy your anime culture, but still go out and talk to girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still like nerd culture. I love Star Trek, right? I like Star Wars, but recently, you know, it's kind of meh, so I don't push for the Star Wars thing as much. But I always be watching the Star Wars videos on YouTube that they make about the reviews and stuff like that, which is really cool. And that's one thing you could look at. But, you know, I always make time to go out and meet girls or be social, or I was always taking time out to meet girls and be social, you know, get a social life, social group, whatever. So what I would do is just YouTube, or what I do now is just YouTube, so I have time to go out and be social. Just do all my nerd culture on my phone while I'm on the train or going places, and that's it. Or like when I was back in San Francisco in college, it would be like I'd get an hour before I went to bed. Like you could watch like 2 anime episodes in an hour before you go to bed. I wasn't really a video game person after God of War 2, but like, yeah, so that's my advice on that. Just take a little time out, just try to set up time to be social and time to do your nerd culture, and just kind of like, you know, negotiate the times. Okay. Number 3, don't wear your nerd culture on your sleeve. That's how you get in trouble with negative sexual association. Negative sexual association is the way you look gives out a sexually negative message, right? So if you're wearing anime t-shirts and anime pins and, you know, a baseball hat with your favorite Marvel superhero on it, and a Captain America backpack or whatever, right? You know, it gives off this sexually negative vibe, like you may be a virgin, or like, because anime has a lot of sexualized female characters, you may be a pervert or a porno addict or something, you know. So that's one thing. So calm down on showing the anime off. Like, you know, you don't have to get keychains and watches and, you know, be showing off everything hardcore. You can be cool about it, you know. Just keep it to yourself. One thing I would tell you, like, one thing I found out is that there is a way you could get away with some nerd culture, like showing it off, if you just show the what do you call it, the labels or whatever, not the labels, the whatever that thing is, you know, like the logo. There you go, the logo. You can get away with nerd culture if you show the logo. Like, one, if it's some type of nerd culture that everybody knows, like Spider-Man, Batman, Pokemon, you know, like if you just have a Spider-Man logo on your t-shirt, Batman logo, Pokemon logo, Call of Duty, you know, Rockstar Games, whatever, you can get away with that because it's just a label. People will be like, oh, I know about that, that's cool. But if you're showing off, but if you have a t-shirt where you're showing off, like, I don't know, some big ass battle between anime samurais and giant robots, and Spider-Man's in the middle, like beating ass, then it's kind of like people will assume you spend a lot more time watching anime than you do in the real world. And like I said, I don't want people to look at you like some creepy virgin or something, or some pervert, you know. So that's that. And then how you talk about, remember what I made a video about this before. Stop being over judgmental and opinionated, and talk about your nerd culture, okay? Like I told you this about Star Wars. Like, I've been around men who, there's pretty women around, and they will start going into a debate about Star Wars and start why Star Wars sucks. Most women are not going to try to hear that, okay? They don't want to hear that, you know? Like, they want some guy. Most women, they're just into a guy that's chill and relaxed and goes places and does cool stuff. They're not trying to hear two nerds and argue over Star Wars. So that's another thing. Don't talk about your nerd culture out loud. Keep your opinions to yourself. So I think that's how you manage nerd culture. Number one, try to find real world implications, like attitude, fashion, lifestyle from your nerd culture that you can implicate into the real world, or whatever. Number two, you know, try to manage some time to be social with other people. And if you got to cut down your nerd culture, you have to make that decision. Because, you know, the more you socialize, the more better chance you have of meeting somebody. Number three, you know, get rid of this negative sexual association. Don't be wearing all these nerd culture clothes and advertising for your nerd culture, because that's a turn off for a lot of women. And I know from experience, so please don't do that. And number four, don't be over opinionated. Don't be talking about your nerd culture in public and stuff like that, because women don't want to hear that. They want a cool guy. So that's it. So I hope that helped you out. This is your boy Jonathan. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. I'll get back to you. All right, I'm out, y'all. Peace.